There are hobbyists among us, geniuses with the ability to play any game they want to. In 1978, a corporation known as The Interior isolated a young hobbyist named John and exploited his genius for their entertainment.
Then one day, their hobbyist ran away.
In today's unboxing, we take a look at The Secret History of the Foot, one of the Kickstarter exclusive expansions for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by IDW Games, part of their Adventures Universal Game system. Let's take a look. Well, here we have Secret History of the Foot. It is one of the Kickstarter exclusive expansions for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by IDW Games. This is part of their Adventures Universal Gaming system. Now, what that means is that every game that is part of that Adventures Universal Game system can be combined. The heroes can work from different gaming system to gaming system. So, example, here we have the Ninja Turtles themed. Well, the Batman just finished off on Kickstarter, just finished funding. Once that comes out, you will be able to then cross the Batman characters and the Ninja Turtle characters into each other's scenarios, vice versa. But additionally, they have now also hinted at the Last Airbender as their next game. It's going to be the next addition to this Adventures Universal Game system. So that's going to be more characters that you can add into this game. Well, here again we have the Secret History of the Foot. This box looks absolutely fantastic. I love the look of this thing. Let's go ahead and flip it over. Take a look at the back to see what we got. It's letting us know we have 8 miniatures to go in the game. It's letting us know that it is an expansion for the 2 retail versions of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, The Change is Constant and City Falls. So you will need one of those 2 to play. You don't need both. You can just, either or will work. The components shows you what it has there, and kind of an overview of what the game table might look like with this one going in here. Looks like we have a little bit of lore. Then it's also letting us know that it is a 1 to 5 players with a runtime of 60 to 90 minutes for an age of 14 plus and not a child's toy ages 14 plus. Now this 1 to 5, what this is talking about is you can play this 1 to 4 players cooperatively, where the villain is played with an AI deck, or you can play it 1 to 5 where it's a 1 versus many, where one person plays all of the villains and then the rest, which can be any count from 1 to 4, play as the heroes. So that is how the 1 to 5 works in this game. Join the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as they unearth the sordid details surrounding the Foot Clan's founding. Race the Shredder and his minions in modern times to track down the Ashai Mo Himatsu, an ancient text that details the Foot Clan's history. Then live out the stories within it as Uruku Sakai and Hamato Yoshi in feudal Japan. Navigate foul bargains with powerful demons. Serve swift justice and explore the secret history of the Foot Clan. Well, that sounds absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to dive into this thing. One of the things that I've always been really excited about this expansion is this guy right here, Krang, being thrown into the mix. I can't wait to see how he dives in, how he is added to all of these scenarios. With Secret History of the Foot, to me it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm very interested to see how he plays into the story here. Well, let's go ahead and crack this open to see what we have on the inside. Okay, and then like most things, we have our instructions, or here within these games, there are instructions, but a lot of times you just have these adventure comics. This is going to serve as both the little bit of the instructions, a little bit of the extra that's going on here, but it also has all the scenarios, all the stories that's going on. A majority of this we will save to the end, to our spoiler section. But let's go ahead and open it up, take a look at the first couple pages that we can look at and still stay spoiler free. And then the table contents showing us everything going on. 56 pages. That is insane. There is a ton of content here in this action comic. I cannot wait. This is going to add a ton of extra play, ton of extra scenarios to this game. That is really going to be awesome. Okay, so let's get that off to the side. It looks like what we have next is some tokens for the game. This looks like a scientist of some type, and then an interesting character here. And these look like they might be the 4 human versions of the turtles. And then that must be that ancient manuscript you're looking for. A portal to the past, probably. Very cool. Stretched limo, and then the makings of what looks like the turtle van. That is pretty awesome. And then a whole bunch of new tiles. Looks like we have 3 new game boards. Let's see here. There we go. So these look more feudal Japan right here. And then of course they always have their number at the top, so it makes it easy to reference. Very cool. Give you a close-up of what these look like. Very cool. Okay, and then up next, looks like we have another feudal Japan tile. And then the streets of New York. Very cool. And finally, looks like we have the inside of one of those feudal Japan buildings. And this looks like the start of a temple. That is so cool. All right, and then we have our new hero boards and villain boards. Looks like we have another set of dice. Now this is interesting how there are 6, but they all look the same, because usually each hero only has 3 die. So why there looks to be 6? That's interesting. Oh, it looks like we have a nice little spot to hold those. Some extra baggies to store everything in. Let's go ahead and take a look at these. Now with these you will see there's a slight difference whether they are AI controlled or human controlled. Of course, if they're human controlled, they'll have the dice. AI controlled, they will have a symbol down here to let them know who they attack, who their priority attack is. Now, a lot of these guys I'm recognizing from City Falls. And then a Shredder, pre-helmet, then Krang. Like here, you can see that's a AI card. So by the looks of it, it's this Shredder, or this Iruki Sakai. So that would be Splinter, if I remember right. Isn't that Splinter before? So Splinter, Shredder, and then his dice. Very interesting. And they each have the same. So that's why there's 6, because they each have the same die. And then we have the rest of the cards. Now here are their team cards. There's going to be 2 sets here. Here we go, start here. These are the initiative cards, again, so when you're playing that solo cooperative type mode, for the AI system, it lets you know the turn order for everything, both for heroes and for the villains. They all have that same back. Oh, interesting. All of them as allies, because these, I think they were their own separate set. Oh, they're in here though. So, Very cool. And then, these look like item type cards. I don't remember these. Oh, the ally cards. Evil ally, that's great. And then the cards for those. And this is again kind of one of those customizable things. When you play the game, you will pick, I believe, like 2 or 3 usually cards, so you have a bunch to choose from. So we have some for Roku Sakai and Hamato Yoshi. So let's do one at a time. First, now showing these, I don't consider that to be spoiler territory or anything, because you will be looking through these. You'll be picking the ones you want to bring. So seeing those isn't any kind of spoiler issue or anything. Mainly just the spoiler section with this set is those scenarios. Very good. So up next, now we have the miniatures. And here we're going to get into the miniatures. Very cool. Looks like we have a little bit of a gap fill that we might have to go through right there. But I like how the cape is a little farther back. It should be easy to get in and paint all that. That looks very nice. Good detail, good texture going on here. So that'll take a wash very nicely. Very cool. And then we have the first of the sons, Raphael. Very cool. And up next we have Mikey. There we go. That's something on cardboard or something on his base. And then the Krang figure. Now that is awesome. It looks like a nice little mold line there. We'll need a little bit of cleaning. That's okay. Leonardo. There we go. There's a little bit of a gap that might need to be worked on there. And then, of course, up here is his arm. And then the last of our sons of Hamato Yoshi. Here we have Donatello. Again, he has that same kind of gap right here on his shoulder that Leo did. Now, his bow looks pretty good here. Of course, if you did have an issue with yours, you can do the hot water trick where you get a bowl of hot water, put the part that you want to correct in there, bend it back to where you want it, and then put it in a bowl of cold water to set it. So those are easily fixed. But yeah, there's a good bit of molding fixing that you're going to want to gap fill that you're going to do here for him, at least with mine. And then what I'm assuming is the Hamato Yoshi character. Very similar. Come on, focus. There we go. So actually, it's probably Hamato. This stage, they're so hard to tell the difference between the two. Very cool. And then finally, again, that same kind of gap fill is going to be needed on both shoulders. Not seeing a whole bunch of mold lines. Maybe a little that you want to work on here. Now, one thing that I do really like here is this case, this box. The cardboard that we have is very sturdy, very secure. This should hold up well. The compartments are made very nicely. It looks like things will take sleeves. They have spaces for everything, for all the tokens, for the dice. But more importantly, the minifigures don't lock in. They just come in and out. So you don't have to worry about too much rubbing and rubbing that paint off. And then, of course, once you put the tiles back on, those tiles will act as a natural lid. So you don't really need a lid here either. I really like this case. It really will make storage for this expansion very nice. So now we will get into the spoiler section of the unboxing where we actually look through the adventure comic, get an idea of the scenarios, how everything plays out. So let's get to where we were. There we go. So now, and one more page we could have possibly looked at. Just again, the components, the credits, and secret history of the foot. Great art there. I love that. Now I love how these, they're made comic form, but they also have a little bit going on here. But then here we have the battle, we have all of the information for it, the restrictions, everything that's going on. And then we have the setup. And one of the things that I really like about this game is they give table presence some consideration. I think the largest scenario I've ever seen has 4 tiles. So there's never a huge table real estate that's going to be going on with all of these. Now with here, if you remember when we were looking through the decks, here with this one, all we saw was for the 2 characters, their player cards, but for the villains, they have a red, blue, green, yellow. They have different colored decks that you use to make theirs for the AI to play, or for the component, the player to play as. So, and it lets you just know how to make those decks up. here we're showing the starting locations for your hero characters. Goal is to get there. Tragic beginnings. So cool. I'm finally getting the Krang showing up by the looks of it. And this is one of the tiles from City Fall, if I remember right. So you potentially might need both sets if they do use items from both. But you'll probably be able to get away with just having the one. Yep. You'll put that portal token. And the Krang are finally coming out. That's so cool. Oh, and the Technodrome. How would I kill for them to make an actual Technodrome, like a full-on Krang set? Especially if they somehow made it 3D, where you know, they had levels or supports or something. Oh, that'd be so awesome. Skirmish mode, very cool. Battle Nexus. All right, on this stuff I'm really liking. Again, even just more different ways to play and to simulate battles and everything. Team Smash. Different maps to use, very cool. That is awesome. There was a ton of stuff, a ton of gaming strategy or scenarios and components within this set. This is awesome. Well, that is everything for Secret History of the Foot, one of the Kickstarter exclusive expansions for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the board game by IDW Games, part of their Adventures Universal Gaming System. I hope this unboxing has helped you to see what all is available, what all is in this one, just in case you do get the opportunity, because there were retailers that bought into the Kickstarter that are selling this retail, that are selling this outside of Kickstarter. It will be one of the more difficult ones to find, being that this was Kickstarter exclusive, potentially a little more expensive. So again, these kind of unboxings I find very beneficial, because again, it helps you decide, is this something that you want to spend that extra hobby dollars on? Well, until next time, guys, I'll see you later.